Well, hello everyone, and welcome again to KAMDI Konversations, where stars tell their stories. I'm your host, Tanya Hawley, and I am so very delighted to be with you today once again, where of course I have a very special guest that I am really happy to have here. We're going to have a little history going on today. We got some good stuff for you. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the Hues Corporation, my special guest, Wendell Anderson. Hello,
Hello,
Wendell.
everybody. How are you, Tanya?
Doing great. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, thank you for inviting us. Although
Yes,
I am representing us, but thank
yes.
you for having the Hues Corporation, and thank you for allowing us into your homes and your living rooms.
Oh, thank you. That's wonderful. Yes, it's not us tonight, but you're representing very well, Wendell.
Thank you.
So
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate you being here. Hello, John. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions throughout our presentation, I'll call it today, please go ahead and put it in the chat, and I'll be happy to ask Wendell for you, and I'm sure he'll be happy to answer.
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and get started. So, we got to go back a few years to talk about the beginning of the Hues Corporation.
Sure.
Yes. So tell me, what year was it actually started?
The group actually started in 1969. The group was
Ooh.
born or birthed, shall we say, in Santa Monica, California. Two co-founders, Bernard St. Clair Lee, and Mr. Wally Holmes, who was the manager and wrote all the hit songs for the group. So those two formed the trio, the Hues Corporation. Now, Hues, Hues, uh,
Mhm.
meaning shades of colors. Uh, the whole thing, and I'm sorry I'm stealing your thunder here, but I just wanted to put this in. When he named the group, he originally called the group the Children of Howard Hughes. Now, that in effect was a dig at Howard Hughes because he was an avowed racist. History has
Ah,
reported that. So Wally was poking fun at Howard Hughes. Well, Howard Hughes decided to try and sue Wally. So he said, okay, you got to change the name. That's when he deferred and changed the name to Hues, Hues Corporation. So
so Hughes caught wind of this and didn't like it, is what you're
he
saying.
did not like it one little bit. And that's a true story.
I thought it was kind of funny.
Well, I can chuckle about it too. And one last little caveat to that is once he learned that the threat, so-called threat, was a singing group, he actually invited the group to perform at his place up in Vegas, and of course, Wally said no. Yeah,
Well, that's pretty hypocritical. Okay.
yeah. But those are the times we was living in.
You're right. You said it was 1969, so
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
which
We
was
still have a long way to go to get to 2022, right?
amen to that. Yes,
And still
boy.
dealing with stuff. So
But I love that story. That actually was going to be my next question. So thank you, Wendell. I was going to ask
yeah,
how the name came about, and
yeah,
so the name came about, and then it was changed to the
yeah.
Hughes
Correct.
Corporation,
Correct.
which really sounds like a business.
It does. It does,
It,
and it is an actual corporation. So the Hughes Corporation is an actual corporation. The
okay.
family, Wally's, kids, are still involved, and I still maintain a robust relationship with them. They've been
Hmm.
around my kids growing up, when I was living on the West Coast, that sort of thing. So yeah, it is an actual corporation.
So is the corporation the music business, or is it something totally different?
Actually it's something different, but it's the music is incorporated within.
Into it. Okay.
Okay, but overall it is the physical entity is we all have like a little piece of it, so to speak, and
Okay.
we all kind of like share in whatever. Like when we do a show, for instance, I
Hmm.
always make sure that when Sarah writes the checks, there's a certain percentage that we send back to the corporation,
Okay. Okay.
so that's always there in the event that we need to do something big or something down the road.
Oh, that's great. Business. I like that. It's
Yeah,
it's incorporated into the business because
yeah,
music is a business. So
that's right.
I'm glad you shared that. That's very interesting to me. I did not know that part of it. So
Yeah.
thank you, Wendell. I'm sure there's a lot of things we're going to learn tonight. So
Let's hope so. Yeah.
so let's travel through time.
Okay.
So it's well, you weren't in it at this time, but even though it started in 1969 and they started performing, I read they opened for some of the greats like Frank
Absolutely.
Sinatra,
Yes. Yes.
Glen Camel. I saw some of the names. I was like, wow,
Atlanta
that's pretty.
Shore. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Can you talk about? Do you know any information about that?
Yeah,
Or
one of the things, because again, I had to, I studied, my history as well. The
yes,
group was put together as a live performance group, a show group, not
okay,
specifically an R&B group, as it were.
right, okay,
And the group actually made its way to Las Vegas because of Wally Holmes. Now you understand, Wally Holmes was a musician. He's a singer and a musician
mm-hmm.
first. He's a trumpet player. He was just amazing trumpet
Mm-hmm.
player. So he performed with all of the great musicians because he was always in one of the pit bands or in Vegas.
Okay,
He played in a lot of those orchestras behind a lot of these folks. So he developed
okay,
all of his relationships, and he had a contact that enabled him to get the group an audition at the Circus Hotel in the Ring a Ding Lounge. That's where the Hues Corporation got its footing and where it launched itself
okay.
into what it ultimately became, and that's because every night the group was performing 4 shows a night. Because back in the day, that's the way you did it.
Okay.
When the strip would shut down, when Sinatra, when the Rat Pack, when everybody else is gone, thinking they're going home, they're coming over to the Circus Hotel to watch the Hughes Corporation perform. So
Mm,
all of these relationships were fomented thanks to Wally Holmes. So
okay.
from there, that's where the Hughes Corporation gained its fame. That's where it gained its basic following. It was able to just once Wally connected the group to the film industry and all that
Mhm.
stuff was born. That's how the Hughes Corporation kind of cemented itself as a great performing group, a great looking group in terms of how we dress and how we.
Mhm. So you said it didn't start out as R&B. That's
Correct.
what I heard from you.
Right.
So
It started out as basically it wasn't disco. It was just pretty much soft soul is the way the group characterized itself.
oh,
Soft soul.
soft soul. I don't think I've heard that term before. I like it.
Yeah,
Yes. Soft soul. And then it sounds like you all were the after party for after they got finished.
pretty much.
You were the after
That's,
so
that's what it was. Because, and again, looking back on some of the performances, the group was very energetic, very lively.
yes.
Big smiles, hugs, and just like trying to envelop the audience and that sort of thing. And that's a part of who the group still is today, even though we've had several iterations of it.
Right, right.
The concepts are still the same.
Okay, that's really interesting. This is such a great, interesting, informational interview, Wendell, so
Sure.
far. Because it's new to me, and I'm sure it's new to a lot of viewers, people that are watching and listening now, and will be watching it later. So
Yeah,
I'm happy we're having this conversation, this KAMDI conversation.
yeah.
So great. So what happened after? Because I want to this is going to be more of a, I guess I will call it a two-part interview, because
That's
we're
fine.
talking about Hues Corporation
Sure.
in general, because I know there's a lot of history there, but we're going to get to Wendell too,
No,
because
no
how
problem.
Wendell got in there and how Wendell got started. So I want to get to that in a minute, but I want to continue with the Hues Corporation where
Yeah.
we are. So we go from Vegas to where? What happens?
All right. So from Vegas, the group actually begins to tour because Rock the Boat, Wally got the group signed with RCA Records.
Mhm.
RCA signed the group straight out. They loved the performances and that sort of thing, and so
Okay.
they got busy writing the first album. Now, just one little point here: "Rock the Boat" was not the song that was selected to go first off the album. So I want
Hmm.
to be real clear. The B side for "Rock the Boat" is a song called "Rock and Soul." If you
Hmm.
want to get to where you let the feeling roll, get down to your rock and soul. That was the song that the record label wanted to go first. That was the song that a whole lot of the people thought should go first, except Wally Holmes. Wally was adamant that Rock the Boat get dropped first. So to shorten that story,
Hmm.
Wally kept pressing. The record company kept reneging. He kept pressing. They kept reneging. Wally said, "Okay, fine. Look, I'm going to keep pitching the fit until you let me get my way." Well, while he was going through all of that back and forth, the song was gaining steam and momentum in the clubs across the country, the gay clubs across the country, uh,
Hmm.
the nightclubs that stayed open to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. They started pumping the tune. That's how he Rock the Boat got its traction. Once the record company saw what was happening with the song, then they acquiesced. They came back and said, "Okay, fine, let's get the vote out there."
So we got to give an applause to our DJs out there who started playing it. Yes.
Hats off to them, without them and without, the gay clubs just in general,
yes.
Who knows?
And
they were very instrumental.
Yes. And, I hear that so often that record companies, they're set on what they're set on, what they want to release.
Right. That's correct.
And they don't want to hear, a lot of times they're very stubborn about that. And we hear all the stories all the time about how they didn't do it. And then the radio DJs start playing it. And it was like, oh, and it caught on. So they had to release it in most cases because it was so hot. If it wasn't too late, in some cases, it was too late to make it a single.
Well, if I may, where the blueprint was born for what you just described? The blueprint was born with the rap music. Because the rap artists showed us the way. They showed everybody else the way. That look, you don't have to go through the record company if you don't want to. If you got your home studio, you can drop some beats, and then if you can spit some lyrics, then you can work around. So they were forming their own labels and things like that, knowing that they weren't going to get signed by one of the big companies because that's not what they were doing. So they basically laid the blueprint down.
Yes,
that's my opinion.
And you're allowed to have your opinion right here, especially Wendell. But you know what I want to do, Wendell? Yes. I want to play the video a little bit of the original Rock the Boat. Yes. So let me get that here.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna tease everybody. I'm gonna play the whole thing, but I'm gonna just in case.
That's right. They're my peeps. Yes.
Just in case there's a few folks that out there that don't know what we talk about. I'm just saying. I don't think there's too many, but. Let's just see. So everybody, bear with me just a moment. We're going to play the original Rock the Boat with the original members.
Yes.
And I know you know what it is.
Yes. Fleming Williams, Ann Kelly, and St. Clair Lee.
Here we go. Let's go from the beginning. I'm sorry. There we go.
So I'd like to know where you got the notion. Said I'd like to know where you got the notion. Rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat, don't tip the boat over. Rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. Ever since I heard your love began, your touches thrilled me like the rush of the wind, and your arms have held me safe from a rolling sea. There's always been a quiet place to harbor you and me. Our love is like a ship on the ocean. We've been sailing with the cargo full of love and devotion. So I'd like to know where you got the notion. Said I'd like to know where you got the notion. Rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat, don't tip the boat over. Rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. Up and now we sail through every storm, and I've always had your tender lips to keep me warm. Oh, I need to have the strength that flows from you. Don't let me drift away, my dear, when love can see me through. Our love is like a ship on the ocean. We've been sailing with the cargo full of love and devotion. So I'd like to know where you got the notion. Said I'd like to know where you got the notion. So I'd like to know where you got the notion. Said I'd like to know where you got the notion. Rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat, don't tip the boat over. Rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat, don't tip the boat over. Rock the boat, rock the boat, rock on with your back. Rock the boat,
all right.
Rock the boat, rock on with your back. Rock the boat,
Okay. All right. I think they know
Yeah,
what we're
I
talking
love
about
it.
now.
I love looking at them in those canary yellow suits for
Yes. And what was the lead singer's name?
Fleming Williams.
Fleming. Okay.
Fleming, yeah.
I like watching his legs in that video.
He's always in that bounce. That's it. Because he was pretty slim guy. Let me just frame it that way.
Yes, yes. But
The
his
afro was
legs
the
were
biggest thing
moving.
about him.
What'd
Yeah,
you say, Wendell?
the afro was the biggest thing about him.
Oh, yeah, it was. But I just had to show that. That was a number one song
Yes,
and one of the first top disco songs.
that's correct.
Even though when I hear it, I know it was disco era, but I don't know. I think it's kind of more R&B. I feel like there's a lot of R&B in it.
Well, again, you're supporting the argument that I started earlier. The song was actually, and the group itself was given credit by Dick Clark, by the way, from American Bandstand, as being the group and having the song that started the disco craze. Now, all along now, the Hues Corporation, we ain't feeling that. We're not feeling like, disco was who we were and what we were about. So there was always that little pushback in there. But after a while, that's what's buttering your bread. That's what's putting you onto it. That's what's taking you to the Far East and all these wonderful places. So you get used to it, and you go along with the program.
And that's what was hot at that time, or starting to get hot. The same conversation I've talked to people about the group Chic, and I always say Chic is not disco to me. I don't care what anybody says. To me, it just happened to be out in that time.
Yes.
And it's the same argument. I was like, I don't know. Well, I kind of do know what classifies disco. I mean, when you hear other songs, but this song and Chic, to me, I don't know. And I have nothing against disco. But you know what, Wendell? I think that might be one of the reasons this song has so much longevity. They may have tried to put it in disco, but you still hear that song.
It crossed over.
And you don't hear a lot of the disco songs. Those songs didn't necessarily, you don't hear those as much today as you do the R&B songs that stayed, the longevity of them.
Yes.
I still hear this. I still hear Chic songs. There's a lot of other ones. So
sure, absolutely. And Rock the Boat is still one of the most played songs on the radio today. I mean, it's played, everywhere, on a radio station somewhere, whether it's, stateside or whether it's overseas or wherever. The song is still being played on the radio. And we're thankful for that.
Oh, yes. It just won't go away. We don't want it to.
Stay in power. Yeah.
That's right. It definitely, I mean, that's real staying power. You're talking about 1974.
Yeah, that's right.
That's some thing. I'm not going to tell you what grade I was in. I'm just going to say I was in elementary school. That's all anybody need to know. I was a little thing.
I hear you. Yeah.
And I was rocking the boat.
Rocking the boat. I'm telling you, again, songs that were simple enough, had a message that mattered, and had a beat that you can get a hold of, and
yes,
it's magic.
Yes.
It's magic.
So you had mentioned movies and film.
Yes.
And there was some connection there. Can we talk about that, about Blackula a little bit? And if there was any more I didn't know about, you could share.
Right. So again, the Hues Corporation had a great reputation of being an outstanding performing group. Mm-hmm. And because Wally Holmes was now connected not only to the music industry at a high level, mm-hmm. but he's now moved over into television and film. Dinah Shore, the Dinah Shore Show, mm-hmm. Was very popular back in the day, and she was kind of sweet on St. Clair. True story. So the Hues Corporation performed, on the Dinah Shore Show, and all those connections came about. Television, one show begat another show, and then the film industry got a hold of the group because they liked what they heard of the beginnings in the Circus Hotel back in Vegas, mm-hmm. and then seeing the group. They came to shows to see the group perform live. They booked the group to perform. To do a cameo in the movie Blackula, and the song that Wally wrote was a song curtain going up. I Caught Your Act. I'm sorry, was the song, the title.
Okay.
And I Caught Your Act was written for the scene where Blackula is actually discovered. He actually starts coming out, and he's actually found out for the first time. But then they cut to the scene where the group is actually performing in the club that he walks into. So that's when you really see him start to change a little bit into the vampire kind of thing. So that's where the Hues Corporation got that entree. And from that point on, the sky was the limit. So it's like the original trio. They had their way made for them pretty much from that.
Wonderful. That's Blackula, everybody. In case you want to look, the
Yeah,
clip is
yeah,
on YouTube.
absolutely.
If you want to see the Hues Corporation performing in Blackula, I'm going back a little way. I looked it up and watched it myself, and they are performing their behinds off on that.
Okay, yeah.
And they kept showing her. They were really short stuff back then. They kept showing everybody dancing.
Oh yeah. It was a pretty raunchy flick for the first time.
It was. So go look it up, y'all, if you want to see it.
Yeah.
I have to give a shout out to Miss Lynn Thornhill, who has joined us.
Yay! We did hi.
And for bringing us together. Thank you, Miss Lynn.
Yes, we are
all
great.
the way from Cincinnati.
We are great. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to, and unless there's anything else I missed with the Hues Corporation, I want to find out how you became a part of it.
Okay. So yes. All right. So I'm in the Air Force, and this will give you an entree. And I had separated from the military. I'm an Air Force veteran.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I separated from the Air Force in March of 1985.
Okay.
I've always been involved in music from little kids singing in choirs in church and that kind of thing, and then coming out of church. I was never really involved with R&B music until I got to high school. And then when I got to high school, Hues High School in Cincinnati, here is where I graduated from. We were in singing groups. So my brothers and I and some of the guys, we were always harmonized, and we thought we were going to be the next Temptations or whatever. But then everybody thought they were going to be the next whatever. But we were pretty good, and we competed in these talent contests that show. So once I graduated from high school, I had a little reputation of being a pretty good singer. Left.
Mm-hmm.
Went in the Air Force, came out of the Air Force, and then I said, okay, I'm going to launch my career. I started in New York, and I worked the Catskills, the Jewish Alps, as it were. I was a solo artist, up and coming, and I was singing all the standards, doing all that kind of stuff. Well, by the time I left New York, drove my little heavy Chevy to California. I got out there about 1988. Yeah, 1988 is when I arrived in Los Angeles. And because I have some family out there, and I immediately started getting the clubs, finding out where the music was, where the auditions were, where I could sing, and this, that, and the other. So I managed to meet a couple of people who told me about an audition that was being held by a professional group that was actually trying to restart. Now, let me backtrack 1 second. 1979 was when the Hues Corporation was officially off the scene.
Okay.
Group was not performing anywhere. It actually started waning down 77, coming into 78. By 79, Hues Corporation wasn't performing anywhere. However, the song was still going strong. We had other songs that were like minor hits. There were actually five songs that were minor hits, excluding Rock the Boat. Rock the Boat was our major.
Right.
We had 5 other songs and they were having these auditions. So I heard about the audition. Long story short, I went over there. I auditioned for a couple of folks who I didn't know who they were. They just said, okay, fine. There's another audition being held tomorrow. Come back for that one. You come back, so and so. So I came back to the next audition. Now, this is where I met St. Clair Lee for the first time.
Okay.
So he was the co-founder of the original trio. So he was responsible, by and large, for actually trying to reconstitute the group, restart the group, that sort of thing. So anyway, I auditioned for him. And then they brought in a couple of more people on a third audition. And then the fourth audition that I went to, performed for Wally Holmes, who was the manager and the other co-founder for the group, in his home, in his living room in Santa Monica, California. So I went through 4 auditions to get the gig. This is in 1989.
Okay.
A year after I arrived in Los Angeles, hustling around, just, running my mouth, trying to find out where everything is happening. I managed to get that audition, and I managed to get that opportunity.
And that's 10 years after.
10 years after.
So they hadn't done anything for 10 years.
For 10 years.
Okay, that's a big hiatus there. That's
it is. It's huge. And then when when Wally heard me sing and saw me move and things like that, he realized immediately that the group could now take on, or shall I say, fulfill its promise because this is the way the group is now. And just before he passed last year, he knew what the group was doing. He knew what we were doing. He knew what I've been doing all along. His blessings and family,
That's nice.
everything all on us. So he was all for this, for where
That's
the
wonderful.
all to become now. So yeah,
That's wonderful that you have his blessings to do this.
yeah, absolutely.
That's I know that it has to mean a lot to you.
It does. My heart hurts because he ain't here. I'm just putting it straight, but because he's more like an uncle to me than a lot of folks. But he was a genius. He's a musical genius. And the man was a PhD in music and English, but and consummate musician, funny, and just had incredible stories and worked with everybody. But anyway, I'm so thankful that he touched my life, and that his family touched my life, and that he bestowed this wonderful thing on me that I get to wake up every day and I can hum a tune. I can hum a little bit of Rock the Boat, knowing that I got a job coming soon somewhere.
Very nice. Yes.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, was he ever singing in the group?
No.
Okay.
No. He just managed the group.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to clarify that. So he has always managed it, and obviously did a good job in guiding it and managing it.
Absolutely. Wrote all the hits. He wrote all the songs for the group, all the arrangements, that kind of thing. And he picked out, he gave the last word on the look for the group, that kind of thing, because early on they were scattered everywhere, but they eventually developed into some of the things that you see the group wearing today.
That's wonderful. That's a great story. And I'm glad you were able to have that relationship and blessing from him. So let me ask you as an individual, because you did some individual things, right? You were solo till you joined this group. So who were your influences, and when did you know this is what you wanted to do?
Yes. First off, one of my uncles, his name is Melvin Coleman. He is, rest in peace, he's passed on a few years ago. He was one of the big voices in our mass choir at my church. And he was also, and this is all true story I'm sharing with you, he was also the first Black man to sing and perform on the original Ted Mack Amateur Hour back in 1959. Okay. He sang a Negro spiritual. They Call the Wind Mariah. That was the song he sang. He went on this show, and you have to understand, the Ted Mack Amateur Hour was a weekly variety show for its time. It was the precursor to American Idol. You come on, you compete. If you win, you come back next week. If you don't, you go home. That was the premise for the show. And Uncle Melvin went on there. He sang this song. He won. You have to understand, all white audiences and things like that. He came back home, and we were all excited because Uncle Melvin was on TV. And my thing was at 5 or 6 years old, I'm wondering how he got in that little box, meaning
right. How did he get in there?
That was my natural curiosity as a kid. But anyway, he did an amazing job.
Well, Wendell, wait, before you go on, was this a national television show?
Yes, national. When you look it up, the Ted Mack Amateur Hour.
I'm going to look it up.
Nationally syndicated variety show. Yeah, they had Ivory soap commercials, all that stuff. Yes, that's what they did. So once he came back, he went back the second week to compete. And again, because of the times, now it's 1959, he sang the same song, got an amazing ovation from the audience, but he lost to a white tuba player. I did say tuba player. Yeah, it'll ring in just a minute. Yeah. But like I said, those times we live in. So when a tuba player would have like 4 notes on it, can be, yeah. So Uncle Melvin was the first. From there, as I was going through all of my singing and that kind of thing, Larry Graham found my ear. He's still one of my favorite singers. Still sing a lot of his stuff. Nat King Cole back in the day. I love Nat King Cole. So a lot of standards. So those are my immediate influences, and I still emulate a lot of them because I do sing a lot of standards with some of the projects that I work on as well. So I'm always calling up Nat King Cole or Sam Cooke or somebody from back in the day.
I love it.
We're gonna get you there because, like I said again, when we do the debut show for this new project, you'll be there.
Thank you. I claim that with you. Thank you. I would love to be there.
You'll be there.
Absolutely. So when did it click? You told us like how you got into it, but when did you think I kind of want to do this? I want to do this for a living. I want to do this, period.
Okay. Excellent question. And here's the answer. My wife set a little note over here just to kind of jog my memory. So I'm trying to stay on script here. So while I was in the Air Force, I was performing with an entertainment program called Tops in Blue. Tops, T-O-P-S, Tops in Blue.
Okay.
It was the #1 amateur showcase on the planet. The show, I mean, the group, it was comprised of 30 Air Force members who are all active duty airmen.
Okay.
Each of us had regular job in the Air Force. You audition for a slot on the tour by competing at a base level talent contest. If you won there, you got moved to a mid-level competition. If you won there, you went to what was called Air Force Worldwide. Now, Air Force Worldwide is exactly what it says. Every Air Force base and Air Force inventory, overseas, the stateside, whatever, if you competed and you won, that base flew you to a randomly selected Air Force base here in the States where you competed for a chance to go on this worldwide tour. Only 30 people got a chance to do this. Okay. So coming out of high school, doing all the crazy stuff that I was doing, before I made it into the Air Force, this opportunity gave me a chance to do something that I could not have imagined. So I auditioned at a base up in Columbus, outside of Columbus, Ohio. And I won at the base level talent contest. Then I had to go to Kansas, where Sinbad and I connected. Because Sinbad and I have known each other since 1978. Since 1978, Sinbad and I have been friends. We'll talk about him later, because he's my brother. I love him. Shout out to you, Sinbad, because he's still recovering from a stroke.
Yes.
So anyway, so we get to Kansas. I win at that level, and then we go to the worldwide competition, which is held down in Cocoa Beach, Florida, which was at Patrick Air Force Base. Now, once you get there, it's big time, because all of your judges are Roxy Roker and Cy Kravitz, your James Brown.
Wow.
This caliber of folks who are judging you now.
Wow.
I'm in front of all of these folks, and I actually, in my category, which was male vocal, I actually came in second place. But the guy that came in first didn't have what they call, he didn't have any feet, which means he couldn't step. He really couldn't move. He was kind of
dance. He didn't have any rhythm. That's what they really meant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you got to be able to move, things like that. So I actually won. I got, I was blessed. I won, and I got selected for the tour. So there were 30 of us that went on this tour. And one of the things that I did in this show that nobody else was able to emulate, and I think that my wife is going to send this to you if she already didn't. Chief of Air Force Entertainment, who still today is a personal friend of mine. In fact, we just saw him and some of our friends a couple of weeks ago up in Dayton.
Chief of Air Force Entertainment.
Yeah. His name is Tom Edwards. Yes, Chief of Air Force Entertainment.
I love it. This is all new. Never heard of it. Okay.
And you just look up Tops in Blue, the history of Tops in Blue, and then you'll I think I made it to the Music Hall of Fame connected to with the program. I'm not. Anyway, so Tom selected. Tom would set this thing up. So when you get selected, it was just like I guess it was like, let's make a deal. I need a singer that's smooth, that's suave, that can step. So and so, come on down. And you're sitting there, and then you get selected. You run up on the stage screaming, and I made the tour. So I made the tour. We got down to our staging, which is down in San Antonio, Texas, at Lackland Air Force Base.
Love it.
I'm one of the group that can sing the Bee Gees. And he asked, any of the male singers, can anybody here sing the Bee Gees? And everybody was looking around. Now, we didn't know it. A lot of us didn't know each other. We're meeting each other for the first time.
Right.
I looked around at these cats. I said, yeah, I can do it. Now, had I ever done it before? No. But I knew that I could.
I love it.
Yeah, that's what I did. So anyways, he brought the songs out, gave us the medley, told us what he wanted. And the next thing I know, he said, okay, fine. Y'all got 24 hours. Go back there and learn this first song so we can hear whether or not we're going to waste our time. So we came back. We gave him not just one song. We gave him the whole medley. And I led pretty much every one of those songs. It's a life in a lost and lonely part of town.
Love the Bee Gees.
Boom. And I sang the Bee Gees.
Wow.
And this day, that particular segment of the show that we toured around the world with got a standing ovation every night. every night. It
Oh,
never failed. People
is
thought
that
we were
anywhere where we can see it?
Say
Is
again.
that anywhere where we can see it, Wendell? Is that?
Yes. Oh, we'll send it to. Yes.
I would
Yes.
love to see that. I mean, we
Oh,
probably can't
you
see
know
it
what?
tonight.
It's on YouTube.
It is on YouTube. That's what I was wondering. Okay, so what would we look up? Tops
Yeah,
in
you're
Blue?
looking at the Bee Gees medley, TIB, Tops in Blue, 79. Bee Gees medley, Tops in Blue, 79. And
Oh,
it's
I can't wait to
probably gonna
see.
blow your mind a little bit when you see it, because this old guy right here that was
Oh,
doing that kind of stuff. And
I
I can
love it. Thank you for sharing. I love to hear the story. So
sure.
I never heard of that. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. That's really something. Never heard of Tops in Blue. It sounds amazing. Is it still going on now?
Actually, the program was ended. I think it's been 5 years now. It's been
Oh,
ended, but again, the Air Force entertainment aspect of it is still operating, and it's operating at a different as a different function. There was a
okay.
whole lot of hate, a lot of jealousy, and a lot of politics that were going on into that, and I won't go that far. But again, to me, 1960 is when the program started. 1960. So from
Wow.
1960 to like 5 years ago, that's a
That's
long
really
time.
awesome.
And this was the #1 Air Force entertainment program on the planet, toured the world. So I mean, I was on tour for my 10 years. I was on tour probably 8 of those 10 years.
Now, wait
Traveling.
a minute, Wendell. How- You are on tour. So that was your job. That was your job touring?
Exactly. When you're on tour with Tops and Blue, that is now your job.
Oh, that's kind of
Entertaining the Air
cool.
Force troops. It's very cool.
Very cool because you get to tour. So were you just performing to Air Force personnel?
By and large, but because so many of these bases had like 1,000 and 1,500 seat theaters on the base, they allowed the civilians to come in to see the show,
Okay.
and
Okay.
the shows are free, so it didn't cost them anything. So they just
That,
come in, yeah.
that's pretty cool, Wendell.
Listen, I'm telling you, it was a highlight of my life. I'm telling you the truth, because without that launch, I don't know how a lot of other things would have turned out. Go ahead, talk to me, sweetie.
Anything people come out of Tops.
Oh, okay. So she reminded me. Yeah. Now, we're talking about Tops of Blue. There were a number of famous people who came through Tops of Blue. Carol Burnett, Flip Wilson,
Oh, wow.
Frank Gorshin, who played the Riddler on Batman, like that. They
Okay.
came to Tops of Blue. So
So
those are some.
celebrities came to these shows. They were very
Yeah.
well known, is what you're
Yeah.
telling me.
Absolutely. No, they were performers. They
Oh,
performed.
you meant, they performed
See,
with
they
you
were
all?
active duty airmen at a time, and they actually performed.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so they actually performed with Tops and Blue.
Oh, that's where you are sharing all kind of nuggets tonight. Thank you. I love it. Okay. Now, Wendell, do you have a most memorable experience you could share with us? Is there one or maybe a few that stands out to
Yeah,
you?
there's one that stands out. I think this was 2005. We had an opportunity to do a PBS special, and it was around Thanksgiving of that year, and the show was being taped in Pittsburgh,
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh Theater in downtown Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
This was an amazing opportunity for me for a lot of reasons, but let me just cut to the quick. Aretha Franklin and Lou Rawls were the hosts. There were some 50 artists who were performing on this PBS special, and it was like the My Music series. TJ, I can't call his last name out the top of my head, but anyway, he's the guy, like the executive producer of this series, but it's called My Music, and it was a PBS special, and you had Aretha Franklin, Lou Rawls were the hosts. You had everybody on there from Dennis Edwards and Temptations. You had the Spinners. You had Frida Payne. Let's see, who else? I'm trying to get. Of course, Aretha performed. Of course, Lou Rawls performed. Just so many different artists that were on there. Edwin Starr, and the list goes on. And Hues Corporation, we were on there as well. So that show Ollie Woodson, my dear friend, God, rest in peace. He was the former lead singer of the Temptations.
Oh, yes.
Uh, Thanksgiving, I had the opportunity, and this is where I really enjoyed it. I had the opportunity before the show. We had food, so I got a chance to meet Aretha Franklin because I was told that she needed some help bringing some things in out of her car. So I happened to be up in the lobby at the time. Long story short, went out, myself and one of the other folks, and we opened up the door. And Mrs. Franklin stepped out barefoot because she rarely wore her shoes. This was my introduction meeting the great Aretha Franklin and helped escort her inside. She got there just in time because we were getting ready for dinner. They had everything from turkey to ribs to you name it. And so I got a chance to sit at the table with Dennis Edwards, Aretha Franklin, and Lou Rawls and break bread.
Nice.
That would be probably one of my top.
And what was it like sitting there eating and conversating with the Queen of Soul?
Amid the sounds of man, this is good. Yeah, that was pretty much how the whole thing went. Everybody got down to the point where either you had a bone to suck on and then you could still talk or something. But for the most part, it was just enjoying food. An occasional something would come out about a song or somebody sang, or Dennis might hum a note while he was doing something. Next thing you know, Aretha jumps on it, that kind of thing. So that was pretty much it. So there wasn't a whole lot of talk at that table, but
Okay.
During the breaks, when there was a commercial going on during the filming or stopped during the filming, we had our moments where we could actually chit chat,
Yes.
and get to know some of these folks and get to speak with them, because everybody was there for the same reason. So it wasn't one of these things where people are standoffish, like, oh, I'm famous, I can't talk.
Right.
It was none of that stuff.
That's good.
So it didn't matter because, again, anytime that I've been fortunate to be in these situations, the only thing that I do is I make sure that folks know that I belong here. I'm not just here walking through or
There you go.
that everybody else is here. I'm here for a reason.
Right.
But I'm nobody in the context of Aretha or Lou, but for me, I'm here and I belong here. I'm supposed to be here. So.
I love it. Yes. Stand tall, because you work to get there and you deserve to be there.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell us. Yes. So tell us, what can we look for in the Hues Corporation? What's going on now? Because I'm excited about what I heard. So
yes.
Go ahead.
Well, we have a new record that we released last year, and we have to go back and do a rethink on how we want to reintroduce it to the listening public out there. But anyway, the new song it's a remake of sorts of the original Rock the Boat. Now, one thing about it, my goal was never to write a song or arrange a song to take the place. That's not what you do. But if you can enhance it some way, that's fine. Now, Wally Holmes was on board with this because, again, over the years, he and I had talked about trying to do an updated version of Rock the Boat or whatever. So anyway, the song is called Rock the Boat for Love, the number 4, Rock the Boat for Love. It is a collaboration with an amazing gifted producer. His name is Julian Johnson. He's from Cincinnati. That's our boy. We love him to death. He actually produced the record. Okay. And then a gentleman who's we become good friends. He was the founder, one of the founders of the Sugar Hill Gang. Okay, Master G.
Oh yes, I can hear his voice now.
Okay, there you go. We got together. We did a private affair earlier that year, a couple of years ago, and we bonded. So my wife, Sarah and G and some other folks, we bonded very very much. So we left that event and said, "Look, man, we got to get together and see if we can do something." So I actually got home, pitched the idea to Guy of having him rap on this new version.
Okay.
Of Rock the Boat. He ate it up so my wife set up the recording session up in DC where G lives at and where Julian is working as well. We drove up because she's got a son and grandkids that live up that way. And in a weekend, we went in the studio with nothing. We know what the original sounds like, but we went in with nothing in terms of, okay, what's this new thing going to be? What's it going to sound like? Well, Guy, his name is Guy O'Brien, Master G, he added his lyric to this thing, and it's just pure genius. he told us before he did it. He said, I got to tell y'all a story. He said that this rap that I just did here, I've held on to this thing for decades. It's some lyrics that I wrote I've never used because I couldn't find the right song to put it on. I found the right song now.
Oh.
So when you hear this song, Rock the Boat for Love, and you hear what he does with it, it's a whole new flavor.
Well, you know what? Let's hear it, Wendell. Let me play it for everybody so they can hear what you're talking about. And I want you to know I absolutely love this song. I absolutely love it. I really do. So let me bring it up, everybody, so you can see exactly what's going on here. Right. Hang on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's up, world? You got the Master G rocking with you, and the Hues Corporation, we doing it. Something fresh and new.
Uh-oh, the internet's
for you.
Here we go.
You.
Oh, come on, connection. Really? Technology is wonderful when it cooperates, right?
It cooperates.
It was, well, we'll talk till it makes up its mind. But everyone, you can go to YouTube and hear it, or just, can they download it? Where can they find it?
Yeah, absolutely. They can download it right there from YouTube.
Yeah, real mellow. Something sexy for the ladies. Oh, baby. Yeah. Clap your hands now. Put them hands together. There you go. Keep it going. Keep it on.
Well, there you are.
Yep.
You're performing it.
Come on.
Oh, this is, I might have to stop it if it's going to.
Okay, that's fine. I understand. Sarah's letting me know that you can stream it on Spotify, Pandora. It's out there.
Your touch is thrilling like the rush of the wind.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's breaking up.
It's breaking up bad. Everybody, I apologize that it sounds so good. I don't want to turn it off. It just keeps giving me seconds of it, though.
Technology, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well,
There's always been a quiet place to harbor you and me. Our love is like a ship on the ocean.
Okay.
We're sailing with a cargo from
love and devotion.
You're right on that. You're right on that. Yeah. Very cool.
There's Master G.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I won't tell you the song. It just keeps pausing on us. Yeah, we're gonna take
Said I'd like to know it. You got the notion. Rock the boat. I don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. I don't tip the boat over. I don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. Up to now we've sailed through every storm. I've always had your tender lips to keep me warm. I need to have the strength that flows from you. Don't let me drift away, my dear. The love can see me through. Our love is like a ship on the ocean. We're sailing with a cargo full of devotion. Come on. You got the notion. Said I'd like to know it. You got the notion. Rock the boat. I don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. I don't tip the boat over. Rock the boat. I don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat.
Oh, yeah. Here we go, baby. Let's talk about something you might know about. When things with your lover don't work out. Things used to be cool, now they just ain't right. And every minute seems like a heavyweight fight. Break up to make up is all you do. But you could take it to contest the love, that's true. One day you're happy, the next you're sad. But deep down inside, you're kinda glad that you've got him and he's got you. So you work to stay together cause you're all you've been through. I won't lie, I would die if I didn't have you by my side. Your love and understanding is so outstanding. Even when you're demanding, intimidating, pulsating, frustrating, motivating. Your love is. Oh yeah. Talk about love. All over the world, all over the world. Do you hear me, girl? So what?
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, so that song release, Hues Corporation is also planning on trying to release a standards CD. It may not come out this year, but with the planning part of the thing is kind of on the table right now. We're talking about the playlist. So and aside from still performing and doing shows, we've got a show coming up down in North Carolina, weekend of Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving. Right?
Okay.
I'm sorry, Myrtle Beach, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The weekend of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And let's see here. And there's a couple of things coming up
Okay.
right after the first of the year. So yeah, the Hues Corporation. Yeah, we've got some things on the table right now.
So Wendell, what can someone expect if they come to see the Hues Corporation perform?
You can expect energy. You can expect, let alone professionalism, but just a good time, because we sing songs that matter to folks, even if it's a cover tune that somebody else's song that we're covering. It's how we perform it. It's how we deliver it. See, there's one thing about us, and this is who we are. We when we walk on the stage, it is not about us. It is about the people who took the time out of their day to come out and check us out and hang out with us, right? And when we perform it, we leave it right there on the stage. We talk to them after the show is over. We embrace the folks that come out and hang out with us. So, for us, you're going to come out. You're going to get a great show. You're going to meet some really cool people, and we're going to leave you with something to talk about.
All right. So you're very personable. That's what I hear you saying. You're very personable.
Right. And if there's any of your listeners that are out there, we are looking for somebody to help us out with this video for Rock the Boat for Love, because that's a stepping song or we call line dance.
Yes.
Folks out there, got some energy and you want to, become part of this video, reach out to us and we can talk about it.
All right. I might have you covered in that. So we'll talk about that.
Hey, we love you. Oh.
So we'll talk about that.
I'm happy.
So Wendell, we just got a few more minutes. I want to ask, there's two things I try and do. The one thing is, I always ask if you can give one piece of advice for those that are trying to aspiring artists, or those that want to be in the music, or be an artist, be a music artist, be a musician, or just be in the music business. If you could give one piece of advice, what would it be?
Be your authentic self. Don't come into the business trying to be Michael Jackson or trying to be Prince or trying to be, we know who they are. They're established. Be whoever you are and whoever you expect an audience to want to listen to or buy your records or hear. So just be your authentic self.
Thank you for that. That's great. And lastly, I have this little game I play at the end. We're going to play a little game. So I'm going to name an artist, and I want you to say the first word or first thing that comes to mind when I mention this artist. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So here's the first one. I promise you'll know all of them.
Okay. No problem.
Okay. Gladys Knight.
Incredible. Yeah. Incredible artist. Love her contralto voice and swoon when I hear her sing.
Ooh, swoon. I like that. Okay. Okay, here's one. Speaking of the disco era and that time frame, Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Busy. The first words to come to mind, because they had so many hits and things like that. I knew some of those guys that were with the original composition. Yeah, we could talk off camera about some other things, but yeah, Busy.
Okay, I love their music. That's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, danceable, no doubt.
Yeah. Okay, so it's funny, this is on my list because you talked about her. Aretha Franklin.
the queen of soul. I mean, it's now you understand why she was called the queen of soul. And
Yes.
in her passing, her music has gotten better and it's getting bigger and it's being played with a fierceness that to me it just really defines who she was,
Hmm.
what she did, and the fact that Aretha didn't record any bad songs. Let me just say that.
How about that? You're right.
Okay, she didn't
Yes.
record any bad songs. So
Okay.
yeah.
Here's the next one. Let's do just a couple more. We're almost out of
Yeah,
time.
no problem.
Commodores.
Love them. Love the Commodores from their college days to their days of she's a brick house. Ow! Yes. The songs were dance-o-matic. They were really cool. They had great looking stage presence and outfits and things like that. Love the Commodores. Love them.
Whitney.
Shooting star.
Ooh.
Whitney was truly a lifetime artist, one of a kind. And now there are a lot of those you can say they're one of a kind, but Whitney was just something special. She had a she had a rare gift, and I'm not even sure that because it was so natural to her. Cece's granddaughter and all that kind of yeah. I'm not I'm not even sure that she really knew what she had. She knew she could sing. She knew she could sing anything, could blow anything. Come on, Star Spangled Banner for God's sake.
Yes.
Look what she did with that. But Whitney was her authentic self. But I just don't. I'm not even sure that she even realized what she had in terms of how she was moving people with her gift. You know what I'm saying? And then her voice was stilled, for a time. But she left us something to listen to. So I'm thankful for that.
And I am thankful that you joined me today for this wonderful interview. Can you believe an hour went by that fast?
No, I can. And you're awesome. Thank you very much. This is probably one of the best interviews that I've been part of. You make it very easy and comfortable, and I thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, Wendell. I truly appreciate that. I'm humbled by that compliment. So thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. And if I could just real quickly, again, the two members, Generva Shellery.
Yes.
And DeAndre Means, the other two members of the current iteration of the Hues Corporation have been with me for quite some time. They both had other commitments tonight, which is why they were not unable to make it. So I'm representing them as well. So I wanted to make sure I put that information out there. Love them to death. They're great people to work with. We can't wait to get back on the stage.
Yes, and I hope to meet them one day as well.
I think you will.
In person. And that's great. So, Wendell, where can people follow or find out where you are performing? Do you have some social media platforms?
You can go to my company is called Natty, Natty, Natty Records, LLC. So you can go to nattyrecords.com. There's updates about where the group is at and where we'll be performing on the website.
Facebook, the Hues Corporation.
And we have a Facebook. We have Facebook, the Hues Corporation page. We have
Wonderful.
For real on Facebook. So
Right.
those are two great spots to be able to keep up with us and know what we're doing next.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, everybody. Please support the Hues Corporation. Follow them, download their music, keep up to date because we want to support our artists. So I thank you, Wendell. I thank you, Hues Corporation, for joining me today. I truly appreciate it. It's been a wonderful conversation. And everybody, please share this with people. Please share this episode with people so they can hear and learn some things as well. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and like me on Facebook as well under the KAMDI group. Everyone have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time on KAMDI Conversations. Bye, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendell.
Thank you.